Mission accomplished. No, I'm not talking about the return of the astronauts sent up by SpaceX. I'm talking about the Fed and the mission to inflate the biggest bubble ever. And now we have the all-time monthly close in the S&P 500, the all-time low 10 yield close, and the all-time high in gold. And in other news, Apple is up $170 billion from Thursday's close. That's more than the market cap of Oracle, more than the GDP of a small country. In fact, Apple's value increase today only would make it the 33rd biggest company in the S&P 500. And in other news, the pandemic seems to have made dictators out of our governors. States such as California and New York are forcing restaurants and bars to only serve alcohol with meals. That prompted some restaurants to add special menu items so that patrons who just wanted a drink didn't have to order an entire meal. But that has caught the eye of dictator governors Newsom and Cuomo. The dictators decided that not only is it within their power to tell restaurants if they are allowed to serve drinks and food, but they also claim the power to dictate what counts as a meal. The dictator of California officially decreed that buffalo chicken wings are not a meal. The Politburo also decreed that reheated frozen pizza bites or small portions of any dish that may constitute a main course when it is not served in a full portion or when it is intended for sharing is not a meal. And in other news, Fitch Ratings has affirmed the United States long-term foreign currency and local currency issuer default ratings at AAA, but revised the outlook to negative from stable. So we got that going for us. All right, let's take a look at the charts. So today we're going to look at the iShares Russell 2000 ETF, and the symbol is IWM. Now we know that the Nasdaq and the S&P are doing quite well, but in order for me to say that we're in a new bull market, we need to make sure that all of the indices are performing well. So far, the Russell 2000 is not. At least it's not performing as well as the Nasdaq and the S&P. And basically what we're talking about is, say, this high here, coming from that bottom. We hit that high there, interim high, and we're down here at this level. We need for the Russell 2000 to move above this previous high, which is perhaps somewhere around there, but hopefully above this high back here, which is somewhere around 170. We have a ways to go before that's going to happen. But I think we need to see that happen before we can really say that we're truly in a bull market. So let's take a look at the volume. Volume has been dropping off fairly steadily here and quite sharply. So that's not necessarily a good sign. The MAC is heading on up. It's near that zero line. Both the fast line and the slow line are heading up, and it's looking pretty decent. We come down here to the histogram, and we see that really there's not much of an acceleration in the MAC because of these bars here pretty much going sideways. Now, I would also be bold enough to say that perhaps this is a topping pattern. And I've said that before, but still, we need some more time to be able to call that a decline, or we need more time to see if things are in a bull market. Moving on down here into the price rate of change, we've talked about this before. It's been at this level here, which is relatively high, going all the way back, say, a number of years. But in my opinion, this too looks like a topping pattern, especially with this little fishhook turn here. This definitely needs to gain a lot more power in order to continue on up here. And I'm not sure if it has it. To me, that looks like it's starting to roll over. Also, relatively weak is the RSI. It's at a 60.09 level, which is decent. And it is above that 50 level, but it's only been going sideways for the last couple of months or so, not showing a lot of strength here. Moving down into the stochastics, that looks all right, but the fast line and slow line are starting to narrow, And again, another potential sign of a topping pattern. We are almost into that overbought territory, which I'd like to see, but it's struggling and hasn't been able to power up through that. Moving on down here into the Williams, you see some trepidation in the Williams as well. Again, we had that high here, came down here, but it's struggling to get back on up in there. It is in that overbought territory, but only barely. Moving back up here to the price chart, one last look. Again, I think we're still in a cautionary position. So be patient because those who wait for the opportunity are going to be those who profit the most. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.